time in early 23, which is what the markets had been expecting.
All right, that is some important opinion coming in. But speaking about the impact of all of these comments coming through, emerging market currencies slipped following Jerome Powell's comments at the Jackson Hole summit, with the rupee hitting a fresh record low below the 80 rupees a dollar mark. So Lata is now here to take us through that. Lata, take us through the kind of moves that we've seen in the currency market.
Yes, it was an all-time low for the rupee at 80.12. And that's largely dictated by the global rush of the dollar rising to a fresh 20-year high on Powell's speech. I mean, if there is no interruption in the rise in the yields all the way to 4%, the Fed funds rate, then clearly the dollar was stronger. The index went over 109 at one point in time. So all EM currencies are lower, between about 0.2 and 0.8%. That's the range. The rupee did recover towards the 80 mark because of Reserve Bank selling a lot of dollars. But just want to add, there are two things. One is that the rupee has actually strengthened vis-a-vis other EM currencies in the past 1 month. And therefore, the Reserve Bank may be okay to allow a little bit of depreciation because you do want to remain competitive with other Asian emerging markets. The other thing is that there is this big expectation that Indian bonds will be included in the JPM index, at least the Financial Times story of Friday indicated that. And that also means a little bit of cushioning of India. So that could be actually positive for the rupee. Speaking of which, the bond yields, which had risen a lot, which had fallen a lot on Friday on the bond inclusion news, actually today gave up their gains. The bond yields rose again by about 4 or 5 basis points despite this bond inclusion news, because the bond inclusion news only helps the spot bond market. In the OIS market, swap market, actually bond yields have risen by 10 basis points. And that obviously is that if the US continues to raise rates, then India can't pause anytime soon. So those fears are creeping in. And plus, of course, crude is still 3 digits, you know. The recession fears are not hitting crude as much. And that's another negative for bonds.
All right, Lata, thanks so much for giving us all those important details on the rupee movement. That'll be one thing to watch out for, especially after the record low that it has hit today. With that, we'll slip into a short breather on Business Lunch. But remember, IRCTC is in focus after sources indicate that the company may have dropped its plans for a 3,000 crore rupees OFS or offer for sale. More on that story after a very short break. Don't go anywhere.